It's time for your weekly NBA basketball fix with Alejandro MC, Ryan, and E-Legend. Are you ready? The basketball-only podcast is now in session.
Welcome to the basketball only podcast. Give it up. I want you to make some noise. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. We're back, baby. We're back. And we are giving you that basketball talk. I got my man, the man, the myth, the legend, E-Legend sitting right here to my left.
What's going on, y'all?
Yeah. He's back in the fold, ready to talk this basketball. That's
yes,
right, baby. And active
season.
on IG.
Yeah,
if you don't follow him,
right.
you are missing everything. All the posts. All the posts.
Most definitely.
The NBA is going to hire him.
I try my best.
It's a new launch.
Word.
Hey,
yeah, and we got our man JustHek, our producer,
Yes.
making it happen, holding it down.
Appreciate y'all.
Makes it happen,
Appreciate
makes it happen for sure. He's been happy these last few days, these last few weeks, because he's a Suns fan, and the Suns have been doing great
Extremely
for the first
well for Suns.
Hopefully those jokes calm down a little bit.
but that's great. Actually, today we're going to talk about a topic that the Suns, before they would be included in, but not anymore.
Oh, okay.
Which are teams that are underperforming.
Okay.
We are at that 16, 15 game mark. Point of the season. So it's a great point to start looking at what teams are doing, where they at, and kind of gauging
definitely.
the hierarchy around the league. So I want to talk about the teams that you feel that are disappointing at this point, that you think they're underperforming. If I ask you guys, what's the first team that comes to mind when you think of an underperformer?
For me, Portland, man.
Portland?
What underperforming? Like, we got these guys like almost to the finals last year, and now they just dropped
Western
off
Conference Finals, right?
Yeah, they was right there. Like
Right.
and going into that, I think we thought they had a great shot, but.
And they're 5-11.
Even with KD hurt, we
Do
don't
you
get
think
that
with
shot.
injuries? Think injuries have affected that a little bit though?
No.
I feel like it's not like a talent thing with them.
I don't think it was injuries. I think they just lost key parts of their team that's really affecting them, like the Harkless and the
Amino.
Alpha Amino. Yeah, these dudes was like tough defenders, guys that could score, glue guys. Like just, right now they just got a lot of young guys right now playing these roles. They also lost Myles Leonard, right? Like those guys was playing with each other for a bunch of years. So I think, they just lost that. Whiteside is not really doing what he's supposed to be doing.
But he hasn't in a while though.
I mean,
everybody
I know,
hopes.
but we always,
Everybody hopes.
But when we first did the podcast to start the season, we thought, he's gonna have like a little resurgence.
he
He should,
superstar.
like playing with those two guards, you should play better, and it seems like that's not working for them. So I don't know. They just and then they go get the Melo and let's see. And then ever since they got him, they lost twice. I mean, I didn't think that was what they needed, but they probably felt like that's what they needed, but. They're definitely the most disappointed team in the league by far.
Okay. Yeah, you have any thoughts on the Blazers?
The Blazers, I don't really see them as being disappointing only because they've had injuries. And it's like, that's like saying like the Warriors are disappointing. Like it's, they lost everybody. No, I'm just saying like they lost key point. Yeah, I don't feel like Aminu was that great, but he was gritty. Yeah. Harkless, okay, definitely, because that was like 11 points, 10 points off the bench. But Dame was basically doing it by himself. McCollum last game was basically by himself. Melo is 2 games from being out of the rec center. So, I mean, they've had injuries. They just lost that other kid. What was his name? That everybody.
So what's the injuries you talking about exactly?
Dame's been missing games.
For 2 games.
You had that other kid. Nurkic is still out. Zach Collins is out till March.
Nurkic, we knew he was going to be out. He's been out.
Right, but that's still when you lose Leonard.
But you had Whiteside, so we kind of figured that he's going to hold it down until he gets.
You figured, we assumed.
But that's what I'm saying.
But he's got a history of not performing.
This is what we're talking about. So coming into this season,
I'm not disagreeing.
Did you see him at 5 and 10 or 11, wherever they at right now?
But we didn't see the injuries coming either.
Even with injuries, even with a couple injuries, they still win games.
But they still have chance. Like last year, they kind of started slow and then they came back. So I kind of see they have the chance because they have the chemistry.
But they've been blown out in games. Like usually they're more competitive. I don't have no problem with you losing games, but be competitive. A lot of these games ain't even competitive sometimes with them, and it's just scary.
It's like a
Lillard, I mean, he had a good off season. He did Shaq. Maybe he was so focused on his rap career that maybe
his
he
numbers
didn't
are
come in
crazy
strong.
right now. Though.
Yeah, no, he's been
his
playing
numbers
well.
are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can play well all you want, but your team ain't winning. We know Dame is that gritty guy that he could do all that. He could carry the team. You got to carry them to wins. He hasn't been doing that.
I don't know. If I'm looking at a team that I'm disappointed in, is the Spurs. Only because you have solid management.
Yeah.
You have solid Hall of Fame coaching. And, hashtag where's DeMar DeRozan? Hashtag where's LaMarcus Aldridge?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm looking at them and I'm just like, they're healthy. What's going on with them? Like it's almost like, good. and I'm like, where's DeMar DeRozan? Like he was.
I kind of was seeing this happen. Like I kind of was figuring like I seen in the like even last year it was just like when they gave up in that playoff series
2 years ago.
No, in the playoffs last year against the Nuggets. Like they at the end of that game they was close.
Really white.
They didn't want to foul. Like it just seemed. Even last year, it didn't seem like a Spurs team that we all remembered. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that gritty player who, Aldridge is a great player. I love Aldridge, but he doesn't have that killer in him like he had in Portland. Like I haven't seen that in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And like DeMar DeRozan, he was probably still shocked from being traded. Like you're not going back there. You're not getting the ring. Get over it. Like you know what I'm saying? Now it looks like they're gonna be shopping everybody.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
I thought in year 2 DeRozan was gonna show out. Like I gave him the grace year because I'm like, okay, he's learning the system, getting accustomed, getting over the I guess the shock that he got traded. But
that's true.
It just doesn't seem like the pieces fit, right? Because there's no spacing in the court.
Yeah, no, they don't.
They're not effective together when they're playing DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge. They do, and but what do you think is the solution? I was gonna ask that with Portland too. What do you think?
To be honest with you, I don't want to pile on him because we just been piling on him. But I don't think DeRozan wants to be there. I don't think he's ever been like, okay, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to settle in at. He hasn't really bought in.
So you say trade DeRozan?
I think trading DeRozan because Aldridge had some good years with them. So I don't think it's all Aldridge thing. Yeah, I mean, if you and I heard the prospects that they would get back, like Bamba and
they offered Bamba for
what's the point guard for
Fultz?
No, for real, the
Fultz.
No, the European dude. What's his name? He run their point guard. He comes for.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, he's actually the shooter.
Ferrero. That's his name. He's the 2 guy.
Yeah,
him too.
But he's been consistent, like 19 points.
And he's like
Fournier.
There you go, Fournier.
Yeah,
I'm hearing those two was in the trade.
Bamba for him?
And Fournier, I'm hearing that's what I seen.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna do that, Fournier is definitely a Spurs type player. So they definitely
send that trade over.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if Orlando's dumb enough to do that trade, but that's crazy. What they looking like. Yeah,
they giving up on Bamba already. It's foolish them.
But you know what Greg Popovich used to do with him. So
exactly.
So it looks like that. If they could pull that trade off, they need to do it.
And it's so weird because they started well. Like I remember coming up with a segment. Like, will this trend continue? The Spurs came out of the gates like 5 and
I don't see them taking.
I think 5-1 or something, and now they've lost 7 straight. But with Portland, to pivot back, what do you think they need to fix their situation? Do you think Melo is gonna be that remedy? Is it enough, or do they?
They're in the minus
else?
when he's on the court.
Definitely not.
And that's been every team the last 4 years with him. So it's you're not gonna get anything off defensively from him. You got to get healthy. Honestly, you got to get healthy because McCollum can't do it. McCollum and Dame can't do it by themselves.
No.
The West. With the resurgence of Dallas and Phoenix,
Lakers,
Lakers. Lakers are already there, but
No,
you
but
talk
they
about
wasn't
the
in the
lower
playoffs last year.
echelon
Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
You're talking about Phoenix, Dallas, Sacramento's coming back.
But think about the teams that can take your spot now. That's 3 teams you just named.
That's what I'm saying.
that
Like,
wasn't in the playoffs
the
last
West
year.
is so much competitive now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
people are balling, and everybody's giving a game.
Even like
now.
New Orleans, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They even though they don't got Zion, they
They
fighting.
won last night. They're fighting. Yeah,
Every game they fighting. There's not no easy game going over there.
I mean, honestly, it's tougher. It's gotten tougher.
And that's another reason you're right.
So they gotta get healthy and.
Yeah, and I mean, they have assets, right? Because they have all these young players, so they could make a trade or shake things up. I think they need like a stable front court player. Some people have talked about Danilo Gallinari. The only thing, he's a baller. Like he
I
plays,
love Gallinari.
but he's like available half of the time.
Yeah,
That's the
gets
thing
hurt a
with
lot.
him. You know what I mean?
They need some scoring, like
He
you
takes a
said.
lot
They
of
need
sick
some
days.
scoring. They need somebody that can score. They need a big man that can score. Because they don't get easy buckets. You know what I'm saying? They don't like last year they had Cannon and all that. They don't have that this year. You're not gonna give the ball to Whiteside and tell him to back up and shoot. He's not doing it. That's not what he does.
But
right?
imagine if they could somehow get it like Detroit to cough up like Blake Griffin, something like that. You know?
But you got to give up something to get Blake.
Yeah.
Because Blake
You're
makes
not
a lot
just
of
getting
money.
Blake. And he's getting like 30-something million this year, so it's not like he's not an easy trade.
Which is a reason why when it comes to Portland, people say, do you trade CJ? Do you break up that backcourt?
ESPN Plus has been saying his name a lot.
I wouldn't trade CJ.
Because he's the only tradable asset. Because it's either
But what do you
him or
get for
Dame.
him? What are you going to get a Bradley Beal for?
I don't know. No, I honestly.
Like, what do you get for him?
You know who's a trade ship? Whiteside, actually. He has a big contract that is expiring.
Yeah, I would trade
And
him.
if a team wants to get out of money, like let's say the Cavs, like they're like, God, we don't really want all that Kevin Love money in our books.
They trade Kevin Love there, you talking about?
Kevin Love would be a great fit
But
there.
the thing is
Kevin
that
Love, but then you what the hell you brought Melo in for?
No, bring him off the bench.
No, yeah.
He kills in the second unit because you don't really have to care, at least in my opinion, you don't have to care about plus and minuses with the second unit, that early second quarter. You know what I'm saying? And because you get buckets.
Y'all know how I feel about Melo in this stage of his career. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's putting up numbers now. That's just because Dame is not there. He's taking a lot of shots that
buckets.
Dame normally would probably take.
But defense,
But
he's lost.
Yeah, he definitely
I
lost.
mean, I'm glad he got a shot because it's like he's gonna get to go out his own way to get like a last array at it. Yeah. I think that team needed some type of storyline change other than you struggling, and especially with like Dame Lillard. It's like perfectly timed. When he's missing, at least people are tuning in to watch Carmelo. You know?
I think when Dame comes back, they'll be better just because Melo doesn't have to be. It's not predictable. Like Lillard's gonna make sure he gets the ball. But you know, I still don't see I don't see any team with Carmelo Anthony going far. And that's just how I feel, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, maybe changing CJ might be I don't know, but I wouldn't do it. That's too early in the season to just trade away your second best player.
But it might really bring up a question because I think when you look at NBA history, I think the Warriors were really an outlier in having a backcourt where so much money was tied up, and it was tied up towards the end just because of the structure of the contracts, right? Mm-hmm. And it works so well because these are like two of the top 5 shooters in NBA history, and Klay Thompson is such a big guard too. Yeah. But with Dame and CJ, it's almost like they are the same player in a way. You know, they're too small guards. They're small, so it's hard, and you gotta watch.
It sound good, but we wasn't saying this in the playoffs last year. We was like, damn, this is the best thing that's happening.
But what I'm saying,
was going off.
But you look at,
we thought they was going to the finals.
You look
maybe
at how 6 months.
But I don't think it changed that much. Like I don't think
I'm not,
to where we can just be like, oh, CJ's the problem. Let's get rid of him.
Listen, the Blazers started slow last year, and I feel like because of the coaching and their familiarity with each other, even when losing those 2 players, because Aminu was only there for like a year and a half, whatever. Yeah. But Harkless was there for a minute. Yeah. Homeboy that's on the Heat now, he was there for a minute. But you know, they have a familiarity, and Dame and CJ, they're tough. So I see them still making the playoffs. I just don't know how high now. I think it's 6, 7 seed, 8 seed. Because again, they started off
They gotta
started
start
so last
picking it
year.
up. They gotta start picking
But
it up,
it's,
though.
you know,
Because, like you said, the
But
rest is harder.
But
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
was saying is this: I feel to win basketball games, you need multiple skills to be at play at a high level, right?
Okay.
Dame and CJ give you elite ball handling, shot making,
Scoring,
and
yeah.
that, right? But when it comes to defense, it lacks. When it comes to rebounding, it's gonna lack. So then you really need all the guys to step up in those areas.
That's the
Right.
problem.
And then it's like they can't find them. So
Right.
is it because they have so much money caught up in these guys that they cannot go, get somebody else? Is it because they're in Portland?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
If I'm
know.
Portland, I wait till February.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it
Yeah.
now.
I wait till
wouldn't
February.
wait.
Look at the landscape, and then if it's not looking good, CJ's out because
Man, I
Dame
wouldn't
is your
trade
superstar.
CJ.
They just gave him the supermax.
Man, I thought
So-
CJ was your man. You gonna ship him
No,
out?
he is.
He's your
but
only
I'm saying
tradable
at some
asset, though, at
point,
this
you
point.
Yeah, that's
gotta-
crazy.
at some
He's your
point, the
only
point is to
asset,
win the championship.
Yeah,
And
but
they-
I don't think trading him is
And
the
they
issue.
look like they already hit their ceiling. That's how it
Yeah.
feels. Like they went as far as they could go. That's
And
how
I
it
remember,
feels.
you saying like they should have fought harder against a KD-less Golden
Oh,
State.
definitely.
And it's kind of like, if this is it, then this is it. And your only tradable asset where you're really going to get something is CJ.
Man,
Honestly,
CJ really.
because Whiteside is just a cap dunk.
Yeah.
A bad team is going to take him on, and you from a bad team, you get team players that played on bad teams.
And
So you're
right
not- you know what I mean?
now,
Like, it's-
and when you look at
yeah.
the teams they're going against, the Lakers, it's like threes. It's like
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard for them to go against
I don't see
the
them beating the
Clippers.
Lakers.
It's like
I don't see them being the
I
Clippers.
mean, they even at risk of
Nah,
not
they
making
can't
the
beat Denver.
playoffs. That's what it's looking like right now.
it's-
Yeah, but I think CJ, you better get the right player back for CJ. 'cause
Yeah, no, I
then
agree.
You really
I
won't be in
agree.
the damn
And I
playoffs.
think they value him like that. They're not just
Yeah,
gonna
you
ship
should,
him
yeah,
away.
because-
Because even like let's say they don't do good, the season becomes a wash, and they end up in the lottery. If they end up in the top 5,
Yeah.
R.J. Hampton sits there. LaMelo Ball is there. You got that
But
other
you're
kid
not
that
gonna
plays
get
for
LaMelo
Georgia.
Ball. Yeah.
Those are guards.
Yeah, nah, it's true.
CJ, I'm sorry, but you get his $28 million out of there. You get the young bowler comes in with his rookie contract.
Yeah.
You apply that to. I'm just saying, look, just speaking.
I
You know what I mean?
don't know.
It's just it's the
I
NBA
feel-
2K20.
I feel-
You know?
I want to throw another team out there. The Nets. I feel the Nets have been disappointing.
Why nobody
to me.
listens to me?
You
I
don't think they
swore,
really-
I said, like, when Kyrie goes there, it's going to be the same. It's actually worse than what Boston was. Like, it's just like, come on. Like, Kyrie just dominates the board too much. He's a star. He goes for 50 the first night just to let everybody know, oh, you know I could do this, right? Give me the ball. He's just that guy
Ian,
that's
can I
just
ask
going
you
to
a
hurt your
question?
team.
Can I ask
He's
you
a
a
killer.
question?
Weapon.
Can I ask you a
Go
question?
ahead.
Before LeBron went back to Cleveland,
Yeah, I love
did,
Kyrie.
did the Cavs make the playoffs?
Never.
Okay,
They weren't
fast
even
forward-
sniffing at.
Right, fast forward now,
That's a
he
good
goes to
point.
Boston, right?
They
He goes to Boston. What happened in Boston?
They worse than the year before.
Okay, so now, and
And Boston's
What-
doing tremendous right
what
now.
were we supposed to expect? And by the way,
Oh, we knew-
Stephen
I
A.
knew
just
that.
reported either today or
Oh,
yesterday
Yeah, I heard about
that
that.
he's hearing bad things about Kyrie's attitude.
But that's been there. That's been
Right.
Kyrie.
Were we supposed to expect something without
know,
KD being there?
I feel he's just a two guard. That's what he is. He's a scoring two guard. Like that's what. That's what.
He don't
He's
make
really
nobody
good at
better.
it. But he really needs to be paired up with somebody like a LeBron that's gonna run the team and is gonna make everything flow.
So do you think when KD come back that works out?
No,
I
I
mean.
don't. Because you got two players with the same mentality.
But I feel like it's gonna be
That's
like
true.
OKC though, in the sense
Like
that
with Russ,
Russell
yeah, yeah.
and
But
KD
Russell
were just so
distributed the ball, though.
talented. They're so talented, and they're in the East.
Yeah.
That the talent
Yeah.
alone is gonna
But
carry
does he
them far.
distribute the ball when KD's there?
Right. That's,
I mean,
that's
that
my
might-
thing. They have the same mentality.
I think when it's all
I didn't think
together,
it was
it
gonna
works
work.
out better. But
Yeah.
he can't carry a team this year. I don't even think they're gonna make playoffs this
I
year.
loved
to
it
be
from
honest.
for the city.
I don't. And I
but
actually got a
yeah.
running bet with my friend that they're not gonna make the playoffs. So.
And I don't know y'all about y'all, but it's almost like I'm not even like really excited about tuning in into their games. Like not as last year.
They
Last
win
year
when
I
he's
was-
not playing. You know that, right? They won 2 games because he wasn't there.
and that's crazy because he's so
It's true.
talented. He's so talented, but yeah.
But he's messing up a team that went to the playoffs last
But
year.
he's
Word.
isolation talented.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like again,
Right.
he needs another player that's.
He's too talented for his own good.
Let me throw another team out there for y'all. Like when I saw the standings, I
So
see
by the way, Nets not underperform. They're not under. They're
Not in my mind.
They're where they are.
To me, they
I did think they were
going
gonna do a little bit better because
Yeah.
I'm high on the guys like Randall and Morris.
And they just lost Karis LeVert too to injury. He just had
The Nets,
surgery.
He's looking like
and-
he's becoming injury prone, but we'll see what happens. But
I mean, yeah.
not enough scoring.
But I was gonna say Detroit, they're 4-10. I'm like,
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
They got a little excuse because Blake just came back,
Yeah.
and I feel like just relying on like Derrick Rose and like Derrick Rose is cool, but he's not gonna bring it every night.
that's
So
they feel like
squeezed
a
into the
forgotten
playoffs last
team
year.
in a way. you
yeah,
know?
I think when Blake gets
Yeah.
into form a little
yeah.
bit, I think they'll be better off. But yeah, that's why. And to be honest with you, like I don't expect much because they stars are injury prone. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So the only guy who stays on the court is Drummond, and he'll go get you your 20-something rebound.
Yeah.
And Drummond he plays his butt off every night. I give him credit for that, but I don't really expect nothing from
that
much from him
contract,
either.
yeah.
Drummond's waiting for that trade talk to happen. Drummond's like,
he
yeah,
does.
I'm out of
He
here.
deserves-
He's doing the
he
Bruce
deserves-
Banner on the side of the road. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
he deserves a play
Yeah.
spin for real because he really can help somebody out. Because he's the beast, but yeah, I really didn't expect that much from them either.
I mean, they squeezed into the playoffs last year. So it's like kind of like,
Yeah, and I guess like other teams like the Warriors and the
understand that.
Hawks get a pass because of the injuries, right? One team
but
that
the Hawks didn't really have injuries. They had
Well, they-
well, the
was
guy
yeah, the
suspended, and
Trae
Trae
Young
Young was
lost a couple
injured.
games.
for
And they're
another
young.
game.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
in the last show, I was hoping they would be better. And Trae Young is balling out of his mind
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
He's
crazy.
He is
Yeah.
nutmegging everybody. Like, he's nutmegging the reps.
Yeah,
Like, give me
word,
that.
word.
He's
I
better
think
than
that
Curry was in his second season.
Yeah, but that's
And
it.
he's
That's-
I'm just saying.
And he's got a thing about
I'm
him,
just
man.
saying, bro.
But that statement is almost like
Yo.
wanting to say that he's gonna become that he's
Nah,
gonna end up
I
being
think-
better
I think
than
Trae
I
Young
don't
is
know.
Trae
We
Young.
don't know.
I think
He's
Trae Young
doing-
is Trae Young.
He's killing it, though.
He's got a thing like he'll get knocked down and he'll get up and he'll do something slick to the guy that knocked him down. Like he'll bump him.
You see where he pulled up from. This guy is relentless. He's fearless.
Right.
He has a lot of. He passes better than he's a better distributor of the ball than Curry. Like
I'll give you that.
I don't like. I'm not gonna jump out the window because we are talking about a MVP and a champion and all that. In the right situation, I don't know if it's the land or if they're gonna build one around him. But in the right situation, he could be very scary.
Yeah.
'Cause
Honestly,
it's crazy how that NBA is now.
he and this is also a stretch.
Yeah.
But the way he is, because he's fearless
Yeah,
and
he
he
definitely
has
is.
super attitude. Like
He's
I
killer.
love him because he doesn't back down.
He doesn't.
One of the best shows in
If you
basketball.
put him in a situation like if you go back in the days when you had Isaiah Thomas
Yeah.
and the Bad Boys,
Yeah.
when you surround him with just dudes with
With bullies,
enforcers,
yeah.
and you have him, you let him go, and you put another like even this kid, the shooting guard that's next to him.
Herder?
When Herder,
He looks
if
ready,
if
man.
he steps up,
Yeah.
you put a couple
And then you
dudes
still got-
around
you know,
them
he got caught
that,
with the weed.
that when they
I
knock
I was
him
watching
down,
him the other day.
I'm telling you.
He
And
tied
Collins
the
too. When he
game.
come back,
tied the game.
Collins is dope.
I'm just telling you, like,
they got pieces that could grow into something. So I don't mind them. They're gonna be all right in 2-3 years. They gotta grow together.
A team
Very
that
true.
I feel that is underperforming at this moment is the Clippers, just because of the high level of expectations.
See,
I got
they
from
get a
them.
pass too for me. Just because I know, like Paul George just came back. Kawhi is. I don't know whether he wants to. Is he missing the game? But or is he under low management? I don't know what's going on there, but they're banged up with their two main stars. And I didn't expect them to
George
be
is
like this
back.
overnight anyway.
George is
Well,
back.
he's
Like,
back
he's-
now, but
yeah,
they
he's
just
back
they
now.
just played their first game together. Tonight
And George looks good.
Actually, tonight they play the Rockets, so this will be their second
Oh,
game
that's
back
gonna
together.
be a great
That's gonna be a great
game.
game. So after this, we're gonna watch that. but
Because Harden killed Kawhi last
and
time.
then I know Harden. I
I
know.
was
But he
looking at
wasn't
him.
guarding him.
No, he
Nah,
guarded him a couple possessions
Yeah,
and
but
hit a
he-
three over him and then looked at him as he's coming up the court.
Yeah.
And Kawhi just laughed it off because he knew he's like, listen, win. You got me.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game tonight because Russ PG.
But I feel like
that's gonna be
Kawhi
dope.
is not quite quiet. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's a little hinder right now.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. That's why I don't put the blame on them. And 10-5 is not bad.
Okay.
10-5 is not bad.
And there were some teams that at the beginning of the year were underperforming, but they turned it around. The Rockets, they felt like, what's happening?
I still feel like it's like I don't know.
It hasn't clicked yet with them, but it's coming along.
But they are. What's the record? They are 11-4.
I guess.
And I'm like, it felt like they lost more games. It's that they lost so ugly. The games they lost. You know, they gave up so many.
I'll wait on that until our next segment where we're gonna talk about the teams that are stepping out the gate. But yeah, I got some stuff to say about that later.
And then and I feel like the Nuggets at first were also
they got it back together.
But they got it back together.
Yeah.
Like, but 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh, they're underperforming.
The point guard, what's his name again?
Murray.
Yeah.
He's starting
to come out.
He's earning that, like he's paying off for them because he's stepping up.
Yeah,
he's kind of like overshadowed the shooting guard they used to, because he was Gary Harris used to be like.
Gary Harris is dope. He's just undersized and
Well,
sometimes.
Honestly.
We'll see what happens.
You know, it's Murray. He's coming up, and if you feed the hot hand.
Yeah.
Actually, now I think about it, like, and you say, well, you get on your man CJ, but it's like, they might think of something like ship out CJ and get like a Gary Harris and another one of their guys that.
Oh, if CJ goes to Denver, then Denver it's a scary. Oh my God, that's a scary team. I wouldn't do that.
And they got a lot of serviceable players that they could ship back.
It's possible.
They do.
It all depends on if Denver wants to tear up their nucleus, though. Because honestly, I mean,
but CJ,
Gary Harris, I mean, the Denver's doing fine.
Yeah.
So, dude, they don't need to pull a trade.
They just need to grow together, to be honest. Yeah,
very
that's how I
true.
feel.
I hear what you're saying.
All right, so we keep going around it, but Golden State, obviously we know they got injuries and stuff like that to their major stars. But do they make the playoffs? Do you feel like they got enough? Is it laughable? I'm just saying, guys, it's still early in the season. They are the defending champions, so they don't make the playoffs?
No.
Draymond Green doesn't.
In what world, brother?
It's over.
It is over. It's
a
lost year.
I'll say this much.
When's Curry coming back?
I think that March.
Is he coming back?
Listen,
he might just play golf. He might just play golf.
I feel like
has to come back.
those young guys need this year. They need this because next year, that first unit becomes the second unit, and Golden State next year is so much scarier because you got Pascal and all these guys.
Yeah,
like Golden State is gonna be really scary, and they're gonna have a lottery pick.
Yeah.
So you trying to tell me that Curry should sit out?
No.
Now I gotta come back. Come on,
yeah,
MVP.
Let him come back.
He can, but honestly,
you gotta get some NBA reps.
If in March they're like 20 and 40, no, sit out.
Yeah.
Cause get that lottery pick.
No, he might
build that stable
give
back
those
up.
NBA reps, the NBA reps,
Sure,
rhythm,
but
whatever.
honestly,
They're not gonna win just with him.
If you're looking at the lottery, if you're looking at positioning. Again, you get those young guys are getting their bumps and bruises, but they're playing.
Yeah.
They're just not talented enough to beat other team's first units.
Nah, I agree.
But you position yourself now, they gel, they go to the second unit, you bring in a lottery pick, 1 to 10, whoever, and this year's draft is kind of deep. It's kind of a 1 to 8. You get a 7 pick, you're good. 6 pick, you're good. So
you know what time it is? Time for the last shot. Who's taking the last shot? Who's taking the last shot?
Here we go.
Game is on the line.
Okay,
Get us home, bro. Get us home, brother.
You got this.
Get us home. Get us home, brother.
You good?
Get us home, brother.
You got this. So the last shot today, I'm gonna talk about my Los Angeles Lakers, baby. Aren't we happy, baby? #1 record in the league. We got the #1 defense in the league. We got LeBron James playing at an MVP level. He's over here getting triple doubles, getting his teammates involved. We got AD doing his thing. Like everything's just running smoothly. We got Kuz coming back, getting back into the system. We got Rondo back We're just doing excellent. The Los Angeles Lakers is the team right now. And like I said in the beginning of this year, they're going to go to the finals. They're going to beat the Clippers. They're going to beat whoever's in the Eastern Conference. And we're going to win the whole championship. And that's my final shot right there. The Lakers all day, baby. And let's do this. LeBron James, holla at me. We're going to win this ship. And that's all I got to say about that. That's the final shot, baby. And it's all water.